Hey everyone, it is Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock Central Time, and it's time for Brown Bag Lunch. I'm Dr. John Sherk, and I'm here to help you compete for your talent, the techs that you need, with culture instead of just wages. Um, Today, I want to talk a little bit about the components of commitment. When your people are committed to the company, to you, there's three components. The commitment I'm talking about is a kind of emotional force that binds them to you. It's a coming from them. They want to align with you. They want to align with the goals of the company. Um, Sometimes we talk about active disengagement, which is active disengagement. They're showing up, but there's no real commitment there. They're actively trying to sabotage what the company's doing. But if they're there and they're showing up and they're engaged at all, one of these components is a dominant presence there. So the first one is desire. Desire is based on wanting to work for the company. It's a want-to situation. And when desire is high, discretionary effort is high, and intent to leave is low. Now, let's talk about discretionary effort. If you put on a scale from 1 to 10, the level of effort required to work at your company, and let's say the minimum is 5, right? And then let's say, well, if you go past 8 for very long, you're going to burn out, and you're going to not be there for that reason, okay? So there's a range between 5 and 8. So if discretionary effort is high, they're closer to 8, and if discretionary effort is low, they're closer to 5. Make sense? Okay, and then when we talk about intent to leave, there's an indicator here as to, am I going to retain these people? Are they close to leaving, or it's not even in their mind at all? Okay, so when desire is high, discretionary effort is high, closer to 8, and thoughts and intent to leave is low. Okay, the next component is cost. This is the idea that it costs me too much to leave. Whether benefits, some recent research I saw said the number one factor in retaining people is benefits. Now, if that's the case, we're dealing with a cost too much to leave situation because they can't get those benefits somewhere else, or at least they assume they can't. So I'm here because I have to be. I'm making the best of it. But when I'm here because it costs me too much to leave, discretionary effort's going to be low, closer to 5, and thoughts of leaving will be high, but won't leave because it costs too much to leave. Okay. And then the third component is obligation, which is a feeling of loyalty and fair exchange that, they've been good to me. I've given them something back, and we've got a good thing going with each other. And that's obligation. And when you're in that space, then the discretionary effort and the intent to leave are kind of medium. Okay. So I actually wrote my doctoral dissertation on this model and applied it to air conditioning mechanics. And when I did, I found one outlier company who had very high cost to leave results in the research, but they still had very high discretionary effort. They were also high desire. They had high discretionary effort and low intent to leave. So, which should not be the case. It breaks the model. So when I go back and I see what are we doing, what's happening here, it turns out that the technicians perceived the culture to be so good in that company that it would cost them too much to leave that culture. And they knew they couldn't get it anywhere else in town. And that was really the origin point of me saying, there's a strategy to compete for technicians with culture and not just chasing wages. Because what happens if you go for, I'm just going to get my guys by paying the most of anybody in town, you're going to have a workforce for whom it costs too much to leave because no one else will pay them that hourly figure or whatever. Okay. So when you look at this model, work your way through your team. What do you think you have? For whom does it cost too much to leave? Who are the people who are overworked and stressed out? What are you seeing there? Do you feel like you're hearing them kind of like the obligation is fading because they're giving you a lot more than you're giving back? If you're seeing people with high desire. You're going to see people who are excited, pep in their step. They're staying after and coming in early, right? If you have people who cost too much to leave, you're going to have people who are frustrated, checking out, minimum effort. When issues come up, they just go like this. They're like, hey, there's only so much I can do. Okay. So if your workforce is trending toward cost too much to leave, you have a problem. You're not going to lose them immediately, but likely eventually you will. And in the environment that we're currently in, it's just such an unprecedented time. There's kinds of conversations. I was with someone just before this call, and he was saying he really wanted some help on how to give feedback without coming off like a jerk, right? Well, 10 or 15 years ago, you really didn't have to have that skill in this business. If you wanted to be a jerk, it's sort of like, the owner kicks the service manager goes and kicks the supervisor kicks a technician, and the technician goes home and kicks his dog. And that's just life, Well, when unemployment started going below 4%, all of that changed. And you just can't do that anymore, because all of those people, I'll tell you that all of those people can get another job with another company in 20 minutes. And if the trigger gets pulled for them to do that, that's exactly what they'll do. They're not captive to you in your company anymore. And that raises the bar on what level of communication, the quality of the environment that you have to offer them. And that's why competing this way is so important. So, kind of take a walk around the building. Next time you have a safety meeting, kind of run your eye through the room. Look at who's there. Who are the desire people? Who are the obligation people? And who are the cost people? And as you have cost people, engage with them. Ask them how they're doing. Because the way you have a cost person is when you talk about a problem that we need to get solved, and they just go like, with the resources you're giving me, there's nothing I can do. With the way it is here, there's nothing I can do. Right? That's a problem person. And one of two things is true. Either they can go get a job somewhere else in 20 minutes, or if they can't, they shouldn't be working for you either. Right? So you only want the kind of person who could get a job somewhere else. Because if they couldn't work anywhere else, well, good grief. Why are they working for you? Okay. So desire, cost, and obligation. I just want to, maybe take a piece of paper, write those 3 words on it. And then the next time you have your text as a group, just kind of scan the room and you can eyeball it, assess what you have, and think through some kind of intervention on the cost people and what you can do to bring them at least over to obligation and help them feel like there's a fair exchange happening. All right, that's it. I'm Dr. John Sherk. If you like what you hear, please share what is in these videos. Tell your friends. Reach out to me. I'd love to spend 15 minutes with you, just getting to know you better and see what I can do to help you compete for technical talent with culture instead of wages. Take care, and I'll see you next week.